Hey, we are back at it again. Okay, let's see if we can act. I don't. Anybody remember what part we were on? Lord Jesus, I forgot. Let me look at my live. Hold on. So we can figure this out. We were on part. It's 9. Did we do 10? Okay, it looks like we finished at number 9. Okay. Oof, go away now. Child. Okay, love you to life. Hey, girl. All right, let's find number. Oh, I don't want that.
Part 9, the lies he told. I stated at the very end of part 8 that I was going to.
I don't know why it ain't big like it was before. We gonna get there, y'all. What? Okay. Oh, here, maybe this one. Here we go. So we did
Part 9, the lies he told.
Now your page.
Oh.
Part 9.
Lord, why is it giving me problems? Okay, there we go. Scroll down, Sarah, scroll down. Part 9. Where's part 10? 8, 9. Ooh. Okay, I found it, y'all. Don't fret. Ba, 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 ba. Here we go. Okay, so we are about to finish, or try to finish, the lies he told. Child, She did, so she finished all of this and then she came live, girl. She was crying and shit. I was like, Lord, you doing too much. But she did finish the series tonight. I think it ends up with 20 parts. So we should be able, since we're already on 10, we should be able to knock out the last 10. So let's go for it. Ain't nothing to it but to do it.
Part 10, the lies he told. So right after the ceremony, um, we go to this restaurant in the Woodlands. It was a seafood restaurant. We got married on a Sunday, and my mom and my sister, they had to fly back out. So it was just me, him, my father-in-law, and my mother-in-law, like the stepmother-in-law. I guess that's how you would phrase it. And so we're there. I'm excited. I'm happy. I'm in la la land. I'm like, you know what? I'm finally married. I'm Mrs. Such and such. And I said, this feels amazing. We went home that night, do what lovers do. And, you know, we moving on with life. I'm currently working from home. You know, I'm pregnant. My boss at the time was like, hey, I don't want you to come in. I don't need you to be exposed. You know, I want you and the baby to, you know, be okay. So as time moves on, he was still actively working. He would come home, you know, things were on the up and up. Then all of a sudden one day I got a messenger message from a young lady. For purposes of this story, her name is Erica. And Erica reached out and said, would you divorce your husband if he was cheating on you? And she just kept typing, like kept hitting, and it went to my message request. So I didn't initially see it at first. And so she was like, I really need you to contact me. I need you to hit me up. Is there any way that I can get your number? She just going. And I'm like, man, who is this woman? Who is this? So by the time I get to like her Facebook page or whatever, I get her full name and I ask Jared, I say, Jared, do you know this woman? He tells me, yeah, that's a stalker bitch. I said, a stalker bitch? He said, yeah, man. I was fucking with that girl for a little minute, man, and she just downright crazy. She done hit up every woman that I'd have been with since her. Don't pay her no mind, yada, yada, yada. I said, okay. And I said, so how she get my information? Because you got her blocked on. He told me she was blocked on everything. He said, man, I don't know. She probably went to my daddy page, seen your name, because his daddy did post pictures nonstop of me. Always posted pictures of us together, posted pictures of our marriage, posted pictures of me. When I would post pictures, he would repost the pictures. Just, I mean, was my dog for real. Still to this day, my nigga. And so I said, okay, that's kind of strange. So I responded back to her, being the woman that I am, coming woman to woman. Hey sis, I'm Mrs. Such and Such, Mrs. MRS, period. Being the biggest dumb bitch in the world. I said, I know my motherfucking man. He go to work, he come home. He ain't, you know, I already know that you a stalker. I know this, that, and the third. And so I blocked her. This woman did try reaching out to me on Instagram later on, you know, in the story, all of that type of stuff. And I am going to get back to her. So something led me to start going through his devices. He did have two phones, one personal, one work phone. So I would always go through his phone when he was asleep. The reason I started going through his phone was because the phones would start vibrating in the middle of the night. Who calling you at 3:00? Who calling you at 3? People were texting and contacting him from text-free numbers. I would try to call the number back. It would say, welcome to text-free, or however the little audio go when they don't answer the phone. So I'm like, all right, that's strange. Who are all these numbers, these random numbers? I had no idea who these people were. And at the time, I didn't even know if it was multiple people. I just thought that it might have been the crazy woman that he claimed was a stalker bitch. Come to find out, that wasn't the case at all. It wasn't the case. So I would still go and visit him like at the restaurant and things like that. And one night he came home and he said, "Babe, I'm about to start applying for other jobs." I said, "What's wrong with Phil Derricks?" He was like, "To be honest with you, babe, I ain't trying to be up there no more. I ain't trying to be up there no more." I said, "Okay." He said, "They working me like a Hebrew slave. I need to make adjustments because you're about to get ready to have this baby because my due date was November 15th." He said, "So I need to make sure that I am at a place where I can get FMLA." Because believe it or not, he did tell me that at Phil Derricks, he did not have any insurance benefits whatsoever. And I believed him because, I mean, it was, I ain't gonna even say to come in because y'all will fire me up about that. But more businesses that are us's, they don't offer a lot of benefits. Sometimes you can barely get paid. Sometimes. So he started actively looking for other positions. He finally landed at Fish City Grill in Sugar Land, Texas. We at the time lived on the border of Cypress, Texas. So Sugar Land is a hike. It ain't that bad, but it ain't down the street either. Phil and Derricks went down the street either, but all right. And so he says, "Babe, I got an interview. They're going to be paying me." I want to say that man told me they were going to be paying him $65,000 a year. It was going to come with benefits, insurance, FMLA. So it worked out perfect. I said, "Okay, babe, that's perfect." He said, "So when this lease is up here, I will commute right now," which he did. He commuted for a good 4 or 5 months. He said, "I will start commuting, but when the lease is up, let's try to look for a house. And then, maybe we can find something that'll be closer out that way." See, the thing about a narcissist is they'll try to isolate you from your family because my family lives out here in Cypress. Yes, I'm from Mississippi, but my Mississippi family, they're out here. My help is out here. I said, "Okay, babe, we married." So, I'm like, "All right, I'm going to support you. We going to do such and such." So he starts working at Fish City Grill. When he starts working at Fish City Grill, one beautiful day in October, I am headed out for not only a nail appointment, but I am headed out for to vote. It was voting time. I don't even know who I was going to vote for, but I was going to vote. I get to the third stair in the townhome. I slip and fall and I roll over. And when I picked my leg up, my foot was hanging like Dak Prescott was. I had broke my ankle in 3 places. There was no one at home with me. He was in Sugar Land and Fish City Grill. The God thing about this is that I had my key in my hand that had the fob to the garage so that anybody that needed to come through, they could come through the garage, whether there was the paramedics, anybody in my family. So I immediately called my cousin, Coco. And Coco said, "Hey, what's up? I am in pain. I'm crying." And I tell her, "I just fell down the stairs. I'm about to give birth by November 15th. It was it had to be like October, maybe 20th. Don't quote me on a date." And I said, "I just fell. I fell down the stairs." She like, "Oh shit, I'm on my way." She calling 911. They both make it around the same time. They get me up on the stretcher. She's on the phone with Jared. She's like, "Hey, she just fell down the stairs." He's panicking. He's like, "Okay, okay, I'm on my way. I'm coming to get there. I'm going to be there." I get to the emergency room. It takes him quite a while to get there because he's coming from Sugar Land. And I'll finish the story in part 11.
So we went from wedding to a, a chick messaging her, and like she said, being the biggest dummy she was. Talking about some I'm MRS period. Period, you're a big dummy. So no, okay. So now He's at what's it called? Phil and Derek's. I think that's the name of it. But so speaking, this is a little side note. So I was sent an article today. It says, "Hate to see it. Houston power couple sentenced to a combined 35 years in federal workman's comp fraud scheme." You want to guess who that couple was? That's the couple that owned Phil and Derek's. John Cruz and his wife LaShawna Johnson once jointly owned both the Phil and Derek's restaurant and jazz lounge, and the Assurance Consolidated Pharmacy. Child, this letter's so little I can barely see. The husband also owned the Inquired Federal Workers Advocate Association, IFWAA. When the couple went down for running a scam through two of the businesses, the eatery, which had been a popular destination for African Americans in the city, experienced struggle and had to assume new ownership. Child, she wasn't lying when she said our people. And this article is from just in October of 2023. Boy, oh boy. I don't know why some of us can become so successful and sabotage our own success. But I'm going to move back onto the story. So now she is on her way somewhere. She falls down the stairs and she breaks her ankle. Calls a cousin, calls an ambulance. They're on their way. He's on his way to the hospital. Let's find out. And mind you, this is just like 3 weeks before she's due. Let's carry on.
Part 11, the lies he told. So he makes it to the hospital. He has relieved Coco. She's headed out. I believe she had to go to work that day, but we truly appreciated her coming through. Shout out to you, Coco. He gets on the phone. He calls my parents. He calls my job. He lets everybody know what has happened. And he's there. He's present. At that time, he was the husband that I needed him to be. It came back that I had broke my ankle in three different places. I knew, all of us knew that surgery was going to have to happen. Surgery had to happen before I had the baby. This happened mid October, and I was scheduled to give birth on November 15th. I don't do C sections, guys. So, and that might be a little TMI, but I did not know. I did not know that I wasn't going to make it to November 15th. First baby, I made it full term. I actually had him a week late. So, with this baby, it was different. I went into my provider. They let me know, hey, we're going to have surgery scheduled. I think I fell like on a Tuesday, and surgery was um, either, I think surgery was that following Tuesday, like the next Tuesday. So I was in a splint at home for a while. I went to the hospital. I had the surgery. He was there when I woke up. He made sure everybody knew that I was fine. And we went home. Now, I lived on in a townhouse, so everything was on the second floor. Where things started getting shaky for me, and when I noticed that this probably wasn't going to be a nice ride moving forward because I was immobile, I could not make it up the stairs. I was a lot bigger than him at the time, and there was no way that he could carry me up the stairs. So, guys, I had to use my arm strength to get up the stairs, one stair at a time, pulling myself with my upper body strength. It was hurtful, it was painful because I was pregnant. He still continued to go to work. He never stayed at home with me. He never told his boss, like, hey, my wife needs me at home. I just really sat there and had to figure out life on my own. I still had to go to my appointments at the doctor. So when I went to the doctor, to my OBGYN, my OBGYN told me within the next 2 weeks, because that's when I had a OBGYN, the next appointment. And she told me, she said, hey, um, you're only 2 centimeters dilated. I said, I'm dilating already. I said, the baby ain't due though till like November 15th. She was like, yeah, well, you 2 centimeters dilated. She said, but I'm gonna tell you right now, you gonna have these Braxton Hicks. So just, deal with it. I mean, I know that you're in pain because of your ankle, but it is what it is. And during this time, I had a knee scooter. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna deal with it. And so I'm still inching myself up the stairs every now and again. I went to the doctor on a Wednesday. That night at 11 o'clock, my water broke. I was about to get ready to have that baby. He was at home, and the way that he handled it, it broke my heart. He was in more of a panic and an attitude than I could ever be. I was so calm. I called my grandma, I called my mom, and I said, y'all, my water just broke. I'm about to get ready to have this baby. They said, and you can't walk? I said, I can't walk. I can't get down the stairs. Called the ambulance. 4 of the most gracious men came and they said, we're not going to drop you. We got you. I was so scared. I had so much anxiety because I had already had anxiety from falling down those stairs, and to be taken down on a stretcher, pregnant, water broke, my husband all over the place, just a lot. I didn't even have my bag packed to go to the hospital. So I make it to the hospital. During COVID, there were certain restrictions. There was no way that it took my husband 4 hours to get to me while I was sitting in a room by myself going through those contractions. I have no idea where that man was for 4 hours. No idea. I sat in the room, and it was like the emergency room. So I sat there by myself having those contractions. They could not give me anything. They could not give me anything because I was on blood thinners. I did not have an epidural. I had that baby just as natural, and I suffered through all of those things, all of those things. They finally put me in a room. There was no doctor in the room, but there was a nurse in the room and a nurse that was in training in the room. At around 3:30, my beautiful baby boy popped out with no doctor in that room and rolled on that bed. And he was at the bottom of the bed to catch it. And as soon as he caught that baby, he fell out. Fell out. And so I'm crying. I'm trying to, get myself together because now everybody rushing in the room, doctors coming in, everybody, they like, oh my God, oh my God. So they're putting the baby under the light or whatever that is to the right. And they come to me and they said, ma'am, your husband is going to be okay. And I looked and I said, what you mean my husband going to be okay? They said he fell out. I had no idea that none of this had happened. I said, what you mean he had fell out? Do y'all know when that bitch came back in that room, he looked at me and he said, I can't even look at you right now because I saw you with all of your insides hanging out of your body. And that disgusts me. That disgusts me. And after hearing him say that, my whole world shut down. One of the most beautiful times of my life was a complete joke and a complete insult at that point. That man got on that couch to the left of my bed and he slept for the rest of the night. And I sat up and I looked at that beautiful baby. And I knew then that this marriage was not going to last longer at all. Because how could you say that to me after having your first unborn, your first baby? How could you say that to somebody? You gagging, you making the same, doing that. while telling me. That's the most fucked up thing that you could tell a mother that just could have lost her life for bringing life. How could you do that? I'm on a knee scooter still. My ankle, messed up. He left that next morning and he went to work. I was there by myself with the nurses. And I knew that I was in good hands because I was at the hospital. You always in good hands when you're at the hospital. But shout out to those nurses because they helped me. I appreciate that. So he would come back after he got off of work and everything, but it wasn't the same because he told me prior that he had FMLA. Then part 11, the lies he told. So he makes it to the hospital. He has relieved Coco. She's
So she goes into labor. He can't get her big ass down the stairs. They got to call 911. 4 hours. It took him 4 hours to get to the hospital. What y'all think he was doing for that 4 hours? So she claims that she has this baby with nobody. Like she said, the baby just came rolling out. That don't even sound right. I done had 2 babies. Don't nothing about that sound right. And he caught it, and then he fell out. What did he do with the baby? Because the umbilical cord is only so long. So what? Hit the umbilical cord hanging out your good stuff while him and the baby laying on the floor. Like what? That just blew that shit completely blew my mind. And I know I probably shouldn't think that way, but it really blew my mind, that whole little part of the story. Now I do agree with her on the disgusted part. Like I remember when I gave birth to my daughter. And they like right after they come out, whatever they're covered in, they're like, oh, they lay the baby on your chest or whatever. And I was like, I asked my husband, I said, you want to give her a kiss? And he was like, nah, not till they clean her off. No, that I could understand. But they say that childbirth is damn near like death. And for you to do your wife like that, it's just disgusting. And gave birth to your first boy, first child, let alone, but your first boy, your namesake, and that's how you behave. The way I would have scooted out of his ass, or scooted away from him, with that one leg up on that damn scooter, and the baby riding on the back, honey, he wouldn't have seen my ass no motherfucking more. Anywho, we're finna move on.
part 12, the lies he told. So I contacted the job, the his manager at his job, and they did not know that I had the baby. They told me that, hey, we will allow him to have as much time as he needs off, but he would need to let us know this type of information because he hasn't said anything. We knew that you were expecting. We just didn't know that you had already had the baby. I said, okay. He said he did tell us about the ankle, but he never told us anything about you having the baby. But congratulations. I said, thank you so much. He got upset with me for calling his boss. Why would you do that? Why would you call up there? I need this job. I said, what is the problem? Like, you have FMLA. Why didn't you submit the paperwork? He went all around the world about, I did submit it. And, they told me that I hadn't been there long enough to get it, yada, yada, yada. But they told me that I could use my PTO days. Now, I do know that sometimes you do have to be on a job for a little minute before you can do FMLA. Now, I don't know about restaurant jobs, but I know in corporate America, you can't just get a job there and be 7 months pregnant and then expect for them to give you FMLA in 2 months. It really don't work that way. But And if your job do it, don't knock mine because mine don't do that. But anyway, um, so I believed that. I was like, okay, no problem. So I get out of the hospital. We get home. It should not be a surprise that he never did get up with the baby at night. I slept on the couch. When I slept on the couch, I would get up with my knee scooter when the baby cried. I would go to my little baby breezer, make him a bottle, give him the bottle, burp him, go back to sleep. I did that tirelessly until I couldn't anymore, until I really didn't need the knee scooter no more, none of that stuff, okay? So I had him on October 29th. My mother and my aunt came into town for Thanksgiving. They came in, they helped me, they did laundry, they did, running errands for me, like if I needed something. They just really came through in the clutch. My mom, she couldn't come as soon as I had the baby, but I am appreciative of when they were able to make it because they stayed with me for quite a bit, and I really, really appreciate that. He cooked a wonderful Thanksgiving dinner for us. One thing I did tell y'all, he could kick his ass off. He really could. So he did that. We fellowshipped, we ate, we communed with one another, and then, they left. When they left, I pretty much was stuck because I said, shit, my help gone now because he was still getting up. He was still going to work, still getting up, still going to work. My sister ended up coming in town. Now, before I tell these details about this story, I want to make sure that y'all do understand that my sister is not a violent individual. Between the two of us, I can get with you. I really can. And my sister is the sweetest, most patient woman in the world. And this is also going to be hard for me to tell because my sister has never, ever, ever seen me the way that she saw me that day. So my sister comes into town. I had a couple of visitors over when she was here, so that they could see the baby. Like I said, this is December 2020. We're still in COVID. So I had just a couple people over there. One night, I was on the phone with my cousin. Me and my cousin, we worked together. And me and my cousin, we were discussing something. And I am a big, big motivator, like encourager. And if you put this shit on, I'm gonna let you know you don't put this shit on. And my cousin, he a noob. So obviously I made some sort of I can't get my words together today, y'all. I am so sorry. I'm so sorry. I gave him a compliment. I'm so sorry, y'all. My mind is because I'm trying to get the story out. I complimented him on something. Obviously, my husband heard it over the phone. Now, he was cool with my cousin, so cool that my cousin was his best man at our little ceremony that we had. There was no rhyme or reason for why he decided to get upset. My husband came in. I said, babe, hey, I'm about to Uber eat some Popeyes. What you want from Popeyes? He was like, give me a minute. I'm going to let you know. I'm still on the phone with my cousin. I let my cousin go. Me and my sister, we're discussing a conversation that I had just had with my cousin. Jared walked back through and he creates a whole scene. Who you was on the phone with going in. And I said, what you got an attitude for? What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? So it's a misunderstanding in the house. Now, my sister here. One thing you're not going to do, you're not going to embarrass me in front of family. If there's an issue, let's go to the room. Let's talk about it. Don't act no fool in front of my sister because you'll get your ass slapped, when it comes down to my folks. Don't do that. So I look at him and I say, man, what the fuck wrong with this man? What is going on? So I look at my sister look at me, and I said, I don't know what's wrong with him. He stormed out the door. He got his book bag on. I'm leaving. I said, so where you going? I need some space. You need fucking space. Oh, okay. What you upset about? So There was nothing for him to be upset about. Let me be clear. Whatever I was talking to my cousin about, it wasn't nothing for him to get upset about. Whatever me and my sister was talking about, it was nothing that could have offended him. He got so mad, he left the house, y'all. He left that house and did not come back that night. I told my sister, I said, I'm sick of this shit. I'm sick of this shit because I get up every night with his fucking baby. I'm going in. My sister is like, I know. And she calm as she can be. And I broke down in front of my fucking sister, man. I broke down in front of my sister, man. And I went in and I told her, I said, I don't deserve this shit. I done did a lot for this nigga, man. I done did a lot, you know? And so my sister had never seen me get like that. She had never seen me get like that. And my sister held me, man. She held me up that night. And I love her for that. I love her for that shit, man. I do. So I called him that night and I said, man, where you at? Where you at? Oh, I got a room. You got a room? I said, what you going to get a room for? I told you I need some fucking space. I need some space. So my mind is everywhere because we just went from babe, what you want from Popeyes to you walking in, acting a fool about something so small. And y'all, to be honest, I don't even remember what it was, but it wasn't nothing for him to get upset about. And he stormed out that door and he did not come back that night. The next day, it might have been around 1 or 2 o'clock. I called his phone and I said, what are you doing? He said, I'm at the barbershop. I said, you at the barbershop? One thing about him, that nigga went to the barbershop every week. I said, you coming home? He said, I don't know. I ain't thought about it yet. I said, I tell you what, I'm going to call your motherfucking mama and you can come get your shit out of my house. He said, bet. You don't never tell me bet. Part 12. Part 12, the lies he told. So I contacted the job, his manager at his job, and they did not know that I had the baby. They told me that, hey, you know, we will allow him to have as much time as he needs off, but he would need to let us know this type of information because he hasn't said anything. We knew that you were expecting. We just didn't know that you had already had the baby. I said, okay. He said he did tell us about the ankle, but he never told us anything about you having the baby. But congratulations. I said, thank you so much. He got upset with me for calling his boss. Why would you do that? Why would you call up there? I need this job. I said, what is the problem? Like, you have FMLA. Why didn't you submit the paperwork? He went all around the world about, you know, I did submit it. And, you know, they told me that I hadn't been there long enough to get it, yada, yada, yada. But they told me that I could use my PTO days. Now, I do know that sometimes you do have to be on a job for a little minute before you can do FMLA. Now, I don't know about restaurant jobs, but I know in corporate America, you can't just get a job there and be 7 months pregnant and then expect for them to give you FMLA in 2 months. It really don't work that way. But, and if your job do it, don't knock mine because mine don't do that. But anyway, so I believe that. I was like, okay, you know, no problem. So I get out of the hospital. We get home. It should not be a surprise that he never did get up with the baby at night. I slept on the couch. When I slept on the couch, I would get up with my knee scooter when the baby cried. I would go to my little baby breezer, make him a bottle, give him the bottle, burp him, go back to sleep. I did that tirelessly until I couldn't anymore, you know, until I really didn't need the knee scooter no more, none of that stuff, okay? So I had him on October 29th. Part 13, the lies he told. So after he told me over the phone, he didn't really know when he was going to be coming back to the house. He also told me in that conversation that he had to go to work. So there was no way that he was coming back at that point in time when I needed him to. I don't know why I pushed the issue, but I did. And I told him, I said, you know, hey, I'm going to call your mama. I called his mama. I said, Are you at work today? She always had an attitude with me. Always. Never liked me. I said, are you at work today? And she said, no, I'm off, but what's up? I said, so I'm putting him out. I need you to probably come and get some of his things because I'm at a point right now where if you don't come get it, I'm going to start putting it in trash bags because I did. I did put them in trash bags. And I said, I'm going to start throwing them down the stairs. And when it makes it outside, it's going to be up to all these neighbors to have a free pick of all these J's that I done bought him, all the clothes that I bought him, watches that I've got him, just the things that I know for a fact that people would probably want for free. So if you don't want that to happen to your baby boy, you might want to come and pick it up. And I said it just like that. She said, "Bet, give me about an hour. I'll be over that way." Said it so calmly. What she didn't tell me was that she was going to be coming with a friend. And what she also didn't tell me is that she had contacted Jared and said, I'm on my way to that girl's apartment. You might want to meet me over there because I'm also going to call the sheriff to accompany us. Why did you need the sheriff to come? I told y'all the bags was going to be at the door. You didn't need to bring nobody to me. So sheriffs come, they knock on the door. I ended up getting into a whole argument with her from the balcony. And we going back and forth. I'm calling her a bitch. She calling me a bitch. He shouldn't have never married your stupid ass. I told you that I told him that you wasn't shit. I knew that you was gonna do him wrong and all this type of shit. And I said, do him wrong. Bitch, I done pay for more shit than you probably done bought in your whole life. I went off. Everything that he had ever told me about her, about how, she was a young hoe, all that type of stuff, I had went off. I said, and Pop done told me, because I said his real name. I said, and by the way, Pop told me that he didn't even know if Jared was his motherfucking baby back in the day with your whole ass. I'm going in. I'm going in, bro. I done went for the juggler. Do you hear me? And so she was like, he said that. She going in. That motherfucker ain't told you that. So I called him on the phone. I said, man, Cece over here acting a fool. She over here, because now mind you, I'm going with the tag name. I said, Cece over here acting a fool, bro. You better come get your baby mama before I kill her. I'm saying all types of stuff. And he was like, calm down, daughter, calm down. What he done did. I told Dad everything. Now I'm on the phone with him while I'm sitting on the balcony. She's still down there. Yeah, bitch. I bet you won't bring your ass outside. Now her friend hyping the shit up. She ain't gonna come. She ain't gonna come with that fucked up ankle. They down there acting in. They going in. And I told her if I ever catch her in these streets, she ain't got to worry about it. There won't be no talking. It won't. So sheriffs pull up. They say, ma'am, we understand that you don't want to let her in, but please let him in because he wants to verify that all of his things have been placed in these garbage bags. He want to make sure he want to do a walkthrough to make sure that nothing else in this house is his. Because obviously you guys are about to go into a separation mode and we are just here to make sure that he gets all of his things. I said, I have no problem with that. I go downstairs myself because by this time, if I can remember correctly, I'm in a boot. This was in December now. So I go downstairs and I let the sheriff in and I let him in. And I slammed the door in the mama face. She, let me at that bitch. Acting a fool outside. Do you know that bitch had the audacity to get on top of my government car and start twerking? And her friend recorded it. Why would you do that? Just stupid. So he comes in. He goes through. And he said, I believe I got everything. He did take like something that was in the bathroom. It might have been like a bag that had like a cologne or something in it. But he pretty much took everything out of it. And then they left. And that was it. He did not say anything to me about the baby. The baby was actually in the home. He didn't kiss the baby. He didn't say, bye, son. None of that shit. Now, it's important to note, too, that when our baby came, he never really cared for our baby. But he always, and to this day, he still claims my oldest as his boy. He always cared about my oldest. Always. And he never really showed that type of love to the baby. I didn't pay attention to that red flag either. the reason that I felt like he really didn't pay attention to his own baby is because the baby looked exactly like him. I believe our baby just it's a reflection of him. The baby looks exactly like him. I believe that's why. I could be wrong, but I don't know. I'm not in his head. So he leaves. We don't talk for a couple of days. I told my sister, I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna do this. I don't know how I'm gonna do this, I'm not gonna lie, like I didn't get married to get divorced. None of us do. But I fucked up. I did. I told her, I said, I fucked up and I don't know how to make it right. And she was encouraging, she was motivation for me. And she told me, she said, it's gonna be all right. It all worked out in the end. It all worked out in the end. And she did not lie, because it does. She got back on the plane, she left, and I was back at home by myself again. He contacted me and he told me, he said, and this was a few days past, he said, I've been doing some thinking. I was wrong. He said, I was mad about some other shit and I took it out on you. But I want to make things right. I want to come home. This had to be the dumbest thing that I could have ever done. I let that man come back home. He said, I've been saying it was a Regency Inn. He FaceTimed me from the Regency Inn. He was at the room by himself. But I don't believe that he went to the Regency Inn just to be there by himself. I do believe that he was probably there with other women. I get into that shit later, but I told him, I said, I did not marry you for us to be going through, um, a divorce so soon and annulment at this point. Cause I mean, shit, it ain't even been 6 months at this point. I said, so, well, it had been, if it was December, yeah, it had been about 6 months. And I told him, I said, so I don't want to like go through a divorce. I'm willing to try if you willing to try, but I need you to come home, bro. Like, what you doing? And he was like, I'm coming home. And he did. He came home. He put all of his things back in the place that it was. And then we continue to resume life that way.
Let me tell you something. I that daddy, remember Pop said a lot about the mama. And she said she was twerking on her government vehicle. See, remember I said last live, I wonder what she does for a living because I mentioned that little part. Like government vehicle, what kind of vehicle? What you had, girl? Where you work at? But that's neither here nor there. So here she is. She had the opportunity to get away from this man that she has seen red flag after red flag. He don't want nothing to do with the baby. He ain't helping her with the baby. She wheeling around. She got a family coming to help. Everybody else is being her village except for her husband. She got that fool out the house, all his shit out the house. And what does she do? But bring him right back in like a fool.
Part 14, the lies he told. So he comes back and we regroup. We resume our lie. We get into another little spat because I found some stuff in his phone. Um, Remember, I told y'all previously about Erica. When he came back home, I looked through his phone. Most women look through messages, most people look through pictures, some people look through browser history. I look at bank statements, I look at Cash App, I look at Zelle, I look at all this shit. So I went through his Cash App, and Erica was named Erica in his phone. Picture was there and everything. The woman that he told me was a stalker bitch. She had requested a $40 cash app, and the reason for the cash app was wasted gas. This was on one of the nights that he claimed that he was staying in the Regency Inn. On top of that, I found messages with them, and she was saying, why you didn't answer the phone? What the fuck you doing? You want me to come or not? So it was obvious at this point that he was cheating on me. I confronted him about it. I said, why was she requesting $40 for gas, for wasted gas? I said, where was she coming to? He said, I told you that bitch crazy. I said, well, what about the text messages? He said, I don't know what you're talking about. I said, well, open up your phone right now. Let me show you, because I seen the shit this morning. When that man opened up their phone, the messages were gone. Completely gone. I said, so you wiped your whole fucking phone clean when you got up? Damn, that's crazy. You must have knew I had went through your shit. He was like, why the fuck you going through my phone anyway? I said, why the fuck is bitches requesting $40 for wasted gas? Why? And why would it be the stalker bitch? That's not making any sense to me, Jared. I don't understand. So we had a spat right before Christmas. We got into it real, real bad. And so he woke up on Christmas Eve and he said, let's get out of here and let's take the baby down to my dad in Lufkin. We left that morning and I was so excited to see Pop, because I told y'all that's the realest nigga that ever was born. I got down there, and at this point, y'all, my mind, my body, I was just in a different world. Because at this point, I realized that I was going through postpartum depression. And I was also having some thoughts. And you guys know what kind of thoughts. Because I was dealing with a baby full time, basically on my own. I was dealing with shit in the marriage with him. Found out he was cheating. And then it really wasn't nothing that I could do to wrap my head around how the hell I got here so fast. Because I'm telling y'all, I did the dumbest shit in the world. All of this shit, now that I'm replaying this back and telling y'all my story, this is some shit that you see and that you look at the next woman and be like, girl, I'm so glad that ain't me. But it was me. And it hurt, man. Because all of this could have been prevented if I didn't even call that damn place back. It's my fault. It's my fault. So we go down there to his dad. And his dad is so happy. We got pictures of him holding the baby. And he's so sweet. He's so sweet. And so we stay down there. And we get a hotel and everything. And we stay down there with them. We come back. He goes back to work. Things happen like usual. On December 30th, this definitely ain't gonna look too good for me. On December 30th, I went to Don McGill Toyota in Katy. He had been driving my 2018 RAV4 so much back and forth to Sugar Land. I noticed that when he would put a vehicle, whether it was mine or his, in reverse, before it would stop rolling back, he would hike it and drive. So therefore, it would, it's like a bounce thing. I know that that's bad for your car. I don't know nothing about cars, but I know that's pretty bad for your car. So it felt like my truck started missing all of a sudden. So I told him, I said, hey, I'm going to go. Me and the baby, we're going to go down to Don McGill, and I'm going to see if I can get another truck. He said, okay. All right, let me know, babe. He was at work, or allegedly at work. I go down to Don McGill. I'm down there 4 hours tops. I come out with a brand new 2021 Toyota RAV4. Beautiful. I get home, park it in the garage. I said, babe, I got a new truck. Life was, at that point, in my opinion, my life was going okay. It wasn't the greatest, but it was okay. I had my husband, half of a husband. I had a new truck. I had a new baby. My oldest was on point. Like, everything was everything. He's still paying bills, y'all. Still paying the bills. Uh, so he comes home and he was like, babe, I'm so glad you got a new vehicle. He said, because to be honest with you, my shit is on his last leg. Now he had a 2018, maybe Nissan Altima. It was it might not even been 18. It might have been like a 16 or 17. It was older. I remember it. It smelled like weed because he smoked. It was pretty raggedy because he got it from Shabana Motors. And so um, I said, how about you go to work tomorrow and I'm gonna go back down to Don McGill. He said, okay. So I go back down to Don McGill and I said, hey, my husband need a vehicle. They said, okay, what kind of vehicle does he have? I said, he has a 20 whatever Toyota Nissan Altima. I said, he said, well, can he bring it in? So he brings it in. He worked at morning shift, so he brought it in. And they took a look at it and they said, we can get you in a car today if you want to. He said, okay, cool. Now, mind y'all, in one of those parts, I told y'all his credit was outstanding, allegedly. We get there. He gets there. They examine the car. They tell him, we can only give you, I think it was like $7,000 for the car. He was like, okay, that's better than nothing. He said, so we're going to get you to, fill out this paperwork or whatever. Everything is electronic or whatever. He said, but, let's see what your credit comeback is. His credit came back at a whopping 437. I was in shock. I said, how your credit score of 437 and you just said a couple months ago you ready to get a house and you told me at the beginning that your credit was outstanding, nigga. And he was like, yeah, a couple of my hospital bills that hit me these past couple of months. I said, hospital bills? He said, yeah, I got some old hospital bills from when I had my gastric sleeve that ain't been paid. So they just hitting they hitting my credit. I said, okay. I said, so now what? He said, babe, I ain't gonna even lie to you. I ain't gonna cap. I really do need another car. Y'all know exactly what's next. I co-signed for that man to get a brand new 2021 Toyota Camry. I really wish I still had the picture so that I could show y'all the picture of us with two red bows on those vehicles. Both black, both brand new, no miles on it. Now we're moving to the next part.
If idiot was a damn person, child, ain't no motherfucking way. I done caught you cheating. You ain't helping me with the baby. Like, all this stuff is going on. And this woman had the audacity to co sign on a truck or a car. And it sounds to me like he was intentionally trying to fuck up that transmission on both of them cars. Like, that's a good way to fuck up your transmission. Child. I I'm telling you, if stupidity was a person, it would be Jillian. I can't. She crazy. All right, let's keep it moving.
Part 15, the lies he told. So we leave the car lot, we make it home. Both of us are ecstatic because we have brand new cars. And I told him, I remember specifically saying to him, listen, I put my name on this car for you. I know how important it is to have good, reliable transportation to go to and from work. So don't fuck me over. If it ever comes to a point where you cannot make the payments on this car, let me know. Because, of course, since he's paying the household bills, I said, I will step in and I will chip in on whatever it needs, whatever happens. And so he says to me, babe, I got you. I would never fuck up your credit. I would never do that. It is important to note that when I signed for the car, the payments were $723 a month on a Camry. His car note was higher than my RAV4 note. I had a good trade in, not so much him. I know. I believe the lies again. You'll see how they fucked me over in the end. So, um, I told him, I said, next week I am going to start looking for a rental home. Because at this point, I knew that he couldn't get a house based on his credit score. I had just bought two vehicles on my credit, so I knew I probably wasn't going to be able to get as much house as I wanted to for the amount that I could get pre-approved for. So I didn't even think about buying a home with him. I said, let's just do a rental. And that's what we did. We started looking at rental homes on Zillow. I would send them to him while he was at work. And I would say, hey, I like this one. I like this one. And so, me being the person that I am, I said, since you travel very far to go to work, let's try to find a home that's closer to your job at Fish City Grill. He was making good money there, as I thought. And I just assumed that he was going to stay at that job. I did not know that in the next 6 months, he would no longer be at that job. We found a rental home in Fresno, Texas. It was for $15.95 a month. It was 3 bedroom, 2 bath. Beautiful home. My cousin lives a street over, so it worked out. Also, my cousin and his wife that tried to help us like with premarital counseling and whatever, they lived in Iowa Colony. And so we were down the street from them. We had already said, hey, y'all gonna be the godparents to our baby. And they were. So I was excited. At townhouses or apartment complexes, you have to put in a 60-day notice. So I put in a 60-day notice, made sure the mail was forwarded out there, all of that good stuff. Now, I was set to go back into the office. I had got a promotion at my job. I was set to go back to work at the end of February, but I asked my new boss, is there any way that I could come in to the office after I move into my new home? He said, yes. I got the babies a daycare out that way. And we moved in and life started from there. Now, when we made it to Fresno, things became a little different. Reason being is because I had better access to go to his restaurant. And I would always go up there to Fish City Grill. I knew everybody there, they knew me. And I was also able to have a better commute heading downtown. So he would take the kids to school in the morning. I would pick them up. So every morning I was going into the office around 5:45, 6 o'clock. I would be off by 2:30, 3 o'clock, go get the kids from school. Yet again, he always worked, like a mid to late shift. So he would always go to work at like 1 and would get off whenever they closed. So if they shut down at 10 or 11, he would get home about 12 or 1. And that was just the restaurant business. I didn't think anything of it. So now we're in March. So March, we're kicking it off good. We love the new house. He's like, babe, I'm so glad that we stuck it out. I appreciate it because you believed in me when nobody else. My mom said to me when I first met you, like, why would somebody like her want somebody like you? And, she kind of crushed me a little bit, but in the same token, you kind of uplifted me. And to truly be honest, that's the only thing that I felt was genuine out of Jared's mouth because I did really help him through a lot of things. So one day I was doing laundry and I noticed that there was something that looked like a sweet tart that was on top of my dryer. And another important thing that I need to tell you is that everything in the house I purchased with either my credit financing or I paid for it outright. So the washer and dryer is mine, Furniture is mine. I bought us a king size bedroom set from Furniture Queen and Katie. Shout out to Furniture Queen. They've been rocking with me for the longest. Like, I mean, I had the house fully furnished when we moved in. There was nothing missing, nothing at all. Made sure that we were straight. And I seen this thing on the dryer. And I said to myself, this got to be some candy or something from the baby. So I discarded it. I ain't think nothing of it. Eventually, I found another one. This time it was on the ottoman. And so I'm like, damn, what is this? Like, is my oldest bringing like candy home from school or something? Like, what is this? It looked like a sweet tart. You know, sweet tarts are different colors. They be orange, they be blue, they be white, they be light blue. You know, they be different colors. So I'm thinking it's fucking candy. I'm thinking it's candy. So I discarded that again. All right. So now, we're gonna transfer over to May. Now we're in May of 2021. In May of 2021, he would always carry a book bag. I bought him a Coach backpack. And when I bought that backpack, he was happy about the backpack because he said, babe, this is so nice. I paid $500 for that Coach bag. Why? $500. I did. But I never knew what he carried in that book bag. Never knew. And so one Sunday morning, he was asleep, but he left the book bag in the guest bathroom by the kids' bedroom on the other side of the house. I walk in there because I was cleaning up. I was probably doing laundry or something, and I was cleaning up, and I said, let me look in this book bag. The fuck be in this book bag? And when I opened that book bag up, y'all, I found a baggie of different color pills that was in that bag. Orange, blue, and white. I immediately took a picture of the bag that it was in, and I sent it to my cousin. And I said, what do you think this is? My cousin around the corner. And she said, I don't know, but I got a pharmacy friend. Let me find out. She sent it to whomever the friend was. And she told me, she said, now, according to him, he says that it looks like Addie's, it looks like Speed, and it looks like some type of pain med. But those are street pills. She said, Jill, where you get that shit from? I said, well, it came out of Jerry book bag. She said, you might want to ask him about that. You might want to ask him about that. I said, okay. All right. So I flushed him down the toilet before I asked, because at that point I knew that I was dealing with a man that not only lied, but that was also taking street pills and was possibly addicted to them.
So you're a liar, you're a cheater, you're a neglectful husband, you're a neglectful father, and you mean to tell me that you have the audacity to be on pills, my man? You are on pills? Ain't no way. Ain't the way I would have taken that whole bag and shoved them down your throat, be like, when the coroner came out, I would have been like, I don't know what happened. Yeah, you playing. You playing in my damn face. And then, wait a minute, then you leaving. Remember, she said she found one on the dryer, she found one on the ottoman. You got a newborn baby and another small child. And you just willy nilly leaving that shit around the house all the way. The next part, damn.
Part 16, the lies he told. So I flushed these drugs down the toilet. One thing I knew about my ex-husband was that he smoked hella weed. I knew that. I knew that. And I never smoked with him either. But there were times where he would call the weed man, and the weed man would pull up to the townhouse that we lived in, or pulled up to the home that we were living in Fresno. And it could have been two different niggas. I don't know. But he would always have product. I knew that he wasn't dealing. I knew that he was actually doing the shit. I knew it. So, because I would smell the smoke, he would sit in the garage for hours when he would get off, and he would never be able to go to sleep. There were so many signs that I missed. Some of the signs that I missed was he hardly ever slept. He was always on go. He really wasn't very active in the bed like that. It was wishy-washy, it was then it was then, and then it was might have been, that type of stuff. So there were different signs that could have pointed to, okay, this man might also be doing something other than weed. But it never dawned on me that he might be into street pills. Never did. Because I really never saw that man take them either. But he always had that book bag with him. All right. So I flushed him down the toilet, and I asked him, I woke him up out of his sleep, actually. I said, Jerry, get up real quick. He said, what's wrong, babe? The baby okay? Yeah, the baby okay, nigga. I said, I got a question. I had went through your book bag. Okay, for what? I said, you taking drugs? Like you taking street pills? He said, that ain't none of your fucking business, man. I said, that ain't none of my fucking business. That's crazy. In my motherfucking house, you raising your voice. I said, that is my business, because I've been seeing that shit trailing through my fucking house where my kids could get a hold of this shit. I said, so you on drugs. You taking street pills, ain't it? And I told him, I said, now you gonna either quit that shit or you can go ahead and get on up out of here, because one thing I'm not going to do is put my kids in harm's way, fucking around with you, getting like this, and you leaving drugs every fucking where. That man looked at me and he said, I ain't going to never fucking stop, and you can leave me if you want to. And y'all, I know y'all been waiting on it, but that is the day that I waited for him to go in that room and start ironing them clothes for work. When I tell you I unplugged that iron, and I put that iron on the floor. He said, what you doing? I picked up that motherfucking ironing board and I beat the fuck out that man in my baby's bedroom. I said, because what you not gonna do is you not gonna fucking disrespect me no more. Don't raise your fucking voice at me. I'ma beat your ass every time, bitch. And I meant that shit. I meant it, y'all. I really did. I beat that man with that fucking ironing board. I did. And I called my mama. And I told her, I said, I beat Jared ass with the ironing board. She said, don't do that. Don't get yourself so mad that you do something like that. I said, man, fuck that nigga, man. Fuck that nigga. So I tell her, I say, mama, he on drugs. He on drugs. So now we know that he lied, he on drugs. He go to work that day, he don't come home. Now this is the pattern that he starts of coming home and just leaving out when he want to. Don't know where he at, can't get a hold of him on the phone. He just coming in and out when he want to at this point. This is May of 2021. At the end or close to the end of May, my oldest at the time, he was getting ready to graduate pre-K and he was going to kindergarten. Mind you, I told you that both of my kids, I found a good daycare for them. So in August, my son was transitioning to the elementary school outside of that subdivision that we were in. So his pre-K school had a graduation ceremony for him. I would have never thought that my ex-husband would have missed this, but he did. He said, babe, I got a lot of people that done called out today. I'm not going to make Walker's graduation. I said, all right, man, it's cool. Part of me didn't want to really go by myself because At the time, me and Walker's daddy wasn't seeing eye to eye, and he was a little jaded because I had another baby, and he still loved me a little bit, but he married now. But I love his wife. I love his wife. So I go to the graduation, and I sit through it. I'm happy. I'm proud. Walker goes with his dad for the weekend because it was a Friday. And I decided that I was going to go up to Fish City Grill to get me something to eat. Me and Jared, we not on the best of terms, but I said, you know what? I'm gonna go up here. I went up there, and as soon as I hit that door with that stroller, one of the best servers that was there. She was the sweetest thing. I don't even remember that baby name, but she walked up to me and she said, "Mrs. Such and Such." She said, "How you doing tonight?" I said, "I'm good." And she had a look of confusion on her face. I said, "Where's my husband?" And she said, "He got off 2 hours ago." It was like 6:30 in the evening. I said, "Impossible. He missed my son's graduation because he said he was going to be working. Y'all didn't have enough people on shift." She said, "Oh, we have a full staff tonight. He told us that he was leaving for the night about 2 hours ago. So 2 hours ago would have been like 4:30. The graduation started at like 5." So I said, "Oh no, boo. Let me call him." So she's standing right there. The restaurant packed. You really wouldn't even know where to sit in there. So I kind of pull over to the side of the door. I make a phone call. He don't answer me. Doop. Called again. Doop. Forwarding my calls to voicemail. I said, "Baby, do me a favor. Bring me y'all restaurant cordless phone." So I called him from the restaurant phone. He picked up on the first fucking ring. "Hello, this is Jared." I said, "Where the fuck you at, man? Where you at, nigga?" Babe, wait a minute, babe. I had to go to Sam's to get something for the restaurant. I said, "You a motherfucking cold case lie, bitch." I said, "These people done told me that you done got off 2 hours ago and you missed Walker motherfucking graduation for what? Where the fuck you at, man?" And I'm going in. In the restaurant. The lady said, "Mrs. Such and Such. Mrs. Such and Such." Okay. I said, "You lying. You a lying ass bitch." I said, "But don't worry about it. I'm gonna get your ass when we get home. Don't worry. I got you." I hung up that phone. I said, "Baby, I appreciate you." She said, "Can I get you a water? Can I get you a salad to go? Can I get you anything?" I said, "Babe, I don't have an appetite." That man done lied to me. I said, "Is there any chance that y'all would have needed something in their kitchen? Any chance that y'all would have needed something in the kitchen and he might have went to a local Sam's or a Kroger and got some ingredients or something because that's what he told me." She said, "Ma'am, Jared told us that he was going home for the evening. We are not expecting him to come back. He is gone." When I called him on that cordless phone, I could hear the wind gushing in the background like he had his window down in his car. So he was off for sure. But I have no idea where he was or who he was with or what he was doing. According to him, he was going to Sam's Club because the restaurant needed something in the kitchen.
Now let me tell you something. It's one thing to play in my face, but what you not gonna do is play with my motherfucking kids. Is play with my kids. You got off in enough time to be at that graduation, and you out in the street doing God knows what with God knows who. Man, ain't no way. Ain't no way. Play with me all you want. Just leave my kids alone, child. Let's go on to the next part. She, like I said, she only has 20 parts, so we should be done pretty soon.
Part 17, the lies he told. So now I'm on the phone with my cousin and I'm like, man, bitch, let me tell you about this shit. So we talking. And I told her, I said, man, I ain't gonna lie, between the drugs, between the line, between all of this, I gotta get out, man. I really gotta get out, but I gotta figure a way out. You know, one thing I will say, and this is a little piece of nugget for any woman out there. I know that I kept saying in these parts, but he was paying all the bills, but he was paying all the bills. Sis, you can pay your own bills. I ain't never letting another nigga pay my bills again. I'm sorry. You're not gonna take away my peace. Because this was too much. This was the straw that broke the camel's back. So I get back home and I ended the conversation with my cousin. I get the baby together. I put him to bed. By 9:15, he calls my phone. I answer. I say, "What's up?" He said, "Babe, I'm at Fish City Grill in Pearland. They needed some help out here. You want something to eat from here?" I said, "No, thank you." He said, "All right, babe, I'm on my way home." I said, "Okay, cool." I fell asleep before he got home because he probably made it anywhere between 11:30. And I never brought it back up again. But it always stuck in the back of my head that he probably was somewhere with some bitch doing whatever the fuck he wanted to do. Or he was probably somewhere getting high. Don't even know. And it's irrelevant now. But it's the fact that he even lied to his place of employment. Because you told them folks that you was gone for the night. I don't even know if they had a GM on the floor that night. So it wasn't just me. So I got a phone call. I got a phone call within that same month from my cousin, and she was telling me that her sister wasn't doing too well. She said it wasn't going to be long before we would have to make arrangements to get ready for a funeral. My cousin was young, and that was a really tough time for my family. So I dealt with grief before anything. I dealt with grief. So I told him, I said, "Babe, you remember my aunt when we went to Mississippi?" He was like, "Yeah, babe." I said, "Well, her daughter, the one that lives with her, ain't doing too well. I'm going to probably have to go to Mississippi at some point." He said, "Okay, whatever you need." I said, "I'll probably just need you to make sure the baby cool." He said, "All right." So I got that phone call one day while I was driving into work. So that'll come back sooner or later. And I'm sorry, y'all, I get emotional on certain points because I'm really not over her yet. I'm really not over that yet. So one morning, about 5 in the morning, I get up, I'm getting dressed for work like a normal day. And I noticed that one of his phones is laying on the couch. He's in the bed. I don't know what made me, but I did. I went through the phone. Again, I went through the Chase banking app. I was concerned at some point because he was making, he was still making all of the bills, but he was also out of nowhere giving me extra money, whether it was extra money to get my nails done, extra money to get more wigs, because I'm a wig finessa, whatever the case may be. He was just giving me bread, just giving me bread. And I kept saying, "Where are you getting this money from?" And he told me, he said, "I got a bonus at work." I don't really think restaurant GMs get bonuses, but I mean, what do I know? During the time, I thought that was truth. And I went through that Chase app, and the same day that he was getting a deposit from Fish City Grill for his job, he was also getting an unemployment check from the government. I don't know how he pulled it off. And I will tell you that the entire time that I knew this man, even up until now, he has never filed taxes. Never filed taxes. I have no idea how he's getting away with this at this point in time. So I took screenshots of that. I said, okay, he getting unemployment. But I also go to his Cash App, and I notice that he is making a lot of transactions to the weed man. But these transactions are beginning to be between $350 to $550 a week. And I said, okay, I know that he doing weed and I know he doing the pills or whatever, but man, I thought, me and him had talked about it. I told him, I was like, hey, I know what you said about the drugs, but you're going to have to quit it. He did come home one day and he told me that he wanted to quit. This was before I found the stuff on the phone. And he said, I do want to quit, but I'll go to a therapist. I'll go to a therapist. I believed him. I also went to his T-Mobile account, and I also found out that he had been on the phone with this one number the entire time that he be at work. Sometimes the conversations were 6 hours long. Sometimes they were 9 hours long. And some of the conversations were occurring while I was at work and he was at home. And I did not know who the number was, but I screenshotted it too. Like I took a picture of it from my phone, from his phone, or whatever. I questioned him about it all. I said, what is going on? Again, he got upset. He told me it ain't no reason that I need to be going through his shit. I told him, I said, we are married, Jared. You got to tell me what's going on. Because now you fucking with the government. What you got going on, player? Like, what's going on? Again, he started this shit up by leaving the house and not coming back. Anytime we got into an argument, he would leave the house and wouldn't come back for days. So I said, all right, man. At this point, I really do got to find me a way out. I really do. So I asked him, when I asked him about the phone calls, he said, you told me to get counseling. That's my therapist. I said, what's the therapist's name? Because you're on the phone with the therapist for 9 hours. Who's the therapist? He gave me some bogus ass name. And he also was the type too, when I found shit, he said, you figured out, you the one that want to know the answer to the question. He had that type of attitude. Once again, head between the washer and dry, tearing that ass up. Don't please watch your mouth and watch your fucking tone when you're talking to me. Because by that time now, I'm not going to lie, and it break my heart, I had become abusive physically. I most definitely did. Part 17, the lies he told. So now I'm on the phone with my cousin and I'm like, man, bitch, let me tell you about this shit. So we talking. And I told her, I said, man, I ain't gonna lie, between the drugs, between the lying, between all of this, I got to get out, man. I really got to get out, but I got to figure a way out. One thing I will say, and this is a little piece of nugget for any woman out there. I know that I kept saying in these parts, but he was paying all the bills, Sis, you can pay your own bills. I ain't never letting another nigga pay my bills again. I'm sorry. You're not going to take away my piece. Because this was too much. This was the straw that broke the camel's back. So I get back home and I ended the conversation with my cousin. I get the baby together. I put him to bed. By 9:15, he calls my phone. I answer. I say, what's up? He said, babe, I'm at Fish City Grill in Pearland. They needed some help out here. Part 18, the lies he told. So soon after I got that information, confronted him about it. He said what he said. He did what he did. I started thinking in my head of solutions to be able to financially uphold this house without this man being here. It was going to be tough. It was going to be tight. But I said, I will start packing that money down for the next 3 to 6 months. I'm going to stick this thing through, but I need to at least get a good 6 months of rent under my belt so that I can be comfortable with this savings account. Because I already knew that if we split, there was a possibility that he was not going to immediately pay child support, even though I was going to put his ass on there. So I got the phone call that my cousin passed. I went home before the funeral. I went home the day that I got the call about her passing. I went home to be with her mom, my aunt. I stayed there with my aunt until my cousin traveled with her family from North Carolina. When my cousin came in town, I think I spent the next night at home, like in Mississippi, and then I flew back to Houston. He was here with the baby when I went home. But when it was time for the funeral, which the funeral was during the week, I told him, I said, I know that you have to work. And when I go home, I'll probably be home for maybe 2 nights max. But when I go home this time, I know since you're working, take the baby to my cousin, which I call aunt because she is like an aunt to me. She helped me when I first moved here to Houston. I said, take baby to her in Fairfield, in Cypress, down there by the Outlet Mall. If you know where Fresno is, you know that from Fresno to Cypress Outlet Mall is a good hour drive. That's a far drive. I said, so just go ahead, take him over there. When I get back in town, I will go and pick him up and then I will bring him back home. He said, babe, whatever you need, I got it. You know, I know that you got to go home for this. I said, okay, thank you so much. The day came where I got on the plane and I flew to Mississippi. My cousin, which is my aunt, keep in mind now, I call my cousin my aunt, but her son was living with her at the time. And my cousin is around 36. And for the story purposes, we're going to say his name is Dwayne. Dwayne is at home with my aunt. And Dwayne is going to be the one that goes and get the baby from the car from my ex-husband. So I'm on the phone with my ex-husband. I've already landed in Mississippi. I'm on the phone with my ex-husband and I say, hey, have you pulled up on my aunt? And he said, yeah, babe, I'm here. But what apartment you say she in again? And I said, don't look for the apartment because Dwayne is outside. He said, Dwayne? I said, yeah, my cousin Dwayne, that's her son. I hear the exchange of the baby. I hear him saying, what's up, man? How you doing? I'm Jared. I'm Dwayne. I hear all that. And so I hear Dwayne saying, come on, little man. He got him. He closes the door and he say, all right, babe, I dropped him off. I said, thank you so much. We end the call. I'm at home dealing with my family because I just lost my fucking cousin. At this point, don't piss me off because I ain't no telling what I'm going to do. Because when I lose somebody like that was close to me, don't say nothing to me ill. Don't do that. That man contacted me that night while I was sitting in the same home that my cousin was living in. I never forget it. And he texts me. My aunt was on that couch. My cousin's mama was on that couch trying to rest because she had just lost her baby daughter. That boy texted my phone and he said, how are they related to you? Talking about the cousins that he dropped the baby off with. I said, that's my family from Mississippi. He said, but I'm saying though, what kind of relation is it? Are y'all first cousins? Are y'all second cousins? Are y'all third cousins? I said, that would be my mom's, if I'm not mistaken, second cousin. Now we're texting. I said, why? He said, because I've been doing some thinking. He said, let me find out that that's not your real family. I said, so who the fuck else would it be? You think I'm just gonna let my baby go with anybody? I said, man, quit playing with me, man. Don't start that. That's what I said. I said, I don't know what the fuck wrong with you. You probably off them street pills. Don't text my phone with this shit. I'm grieving right now. That's what I said. I promise you. I said them exact words. And he says, just let me find out. I called Dwayne up. It's probably 11 o'clock at night. I said, what you doing? He said, shit, playing the game. I said, what the baby doing? He said, in there with mom, sleep, bed. I said, man, this nigga, he texting me with that bullshit. Now, Dwayne probably been out at that point, maybe roughly a year. So he fresh out. One thing that I want TikTok to know right now is my family, it run deep. I'm going to tell you now. So it is hard for you to make idle threats or to talk shit because somebody in the family going to see about you. I told him, I said, man, that man has contacted me and he talking crazy. And I know you don't really know him, but I'm just letting you know he know where, y'all live. So just be on the lookout. If he's trying to come and get the baby, don't let the baby go with him. Because I'm going to be honest, I really did not trust my ex-husband with my baby. I did not. And so he said, oh, that nigga ain't coming over here. He not coming over here. What I didn't know is that Dwayne, in the course of the conversation, he asked me where he worked at, where my ex-husband worked at. And I told him, I said, now at this point, y'all, he had left Fish City Grill. Now he at Grub Burger off of I-10 and Katy. I said, man, he work at Grub Burger. He said, what time they close? I said, I don't know, man. I don't know. He said, don't worry about it. What I did not know is that the following day, Dwayne called up there to Grub Burger and asked for Jared. And he told him, he said, man, this Dwayne. He said, Dwayne. He said, yeah, Dwayne, the one that got your baby over here. He said, oh, yeah, man, what's going on? Everything okay? Do the baby need some? Y'all need more diapers or something? He said, no. He said, but I just wanted to call to let you know that my baby cousin had called me. And I don't want to have to come and see about you. So leave it alone. I don't know what you think the fuck is going on, but that's family. So leave it alone. Jared calls me going off. Man, your motherfucking cousin done called up here. Now it's my cousin. Your motherfucking cousin done called up here talking about woo, 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 yada, 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 acting just like Jody motherfucking ass from Baby Boy. I said, I don't know what you're talking about. You told that nigga that I said, I ain't told nobody shit. Now at this point, now I'm playing your game. Now I'm lying. I said, I ain't told nobody shit. I said, but I told you, stop fucking playing with me. Don't play with me, sir. Don't do it. I'll catch you up on the next part. Part 18.
Let me the audacity. I think I done said audacity like every time I done push pause on the video. I think I done said audacity. Because this man has some hella audacity, child, to question whether that was her cousin or not while she was grieving. She's a better one than me. That's all I can say at this point is that she's a better one than me because ain't no way I'd be able to deal with his shenanigans. He said, meanwhile, he's probably cheating. Oh, yeah, he ain't got the baby. The wife is gone. He doing all kinds of stupid shit. Over there with Peaches. Erica's is Peaches number 2. But yeah, he cheating with the girl Erica. He doing the drugs, all kinds of stuff. Like, like I said, she better than me. Let's go on to part 19.
Yo, I gotta answer questions real quick, man. Let me. Part 19, the lies he told. So I hang up the phone from him. I quickly sent him a text message and I told him, I said, listen, I know you and I have not been seeing eye to eye. I have no idea what you're talking about when it comes down to my cousin contacting your job, whatever the case may be. However, what I will tell you is that I am dealing with the death of a family member. I am currently grieving. This is not what I need right now. Remember, I told you guys that I was dealing with postpartum depression already. And, postpartum can stick around for a while after you've had a baby. So there were things that I was personally dealing with. I was dealing with my own stuff. And so he did not text back. He waited until the day that I flew out, which was the not the day of the funeral, but the following day. I was standing in the airport in Jackson, Mississippi, getting ready to board my flight. And I got a text message from Jared. And he said, so, as I have had time to sit back and to reflect, I believe that I dropped our baby off at his real daddy house. I believe that that ain't, I believe that that ain't your auntie, but that's in fact our baby's grandmother or your baby's grandmother. He says, so I want a DNA test when you get back. I may have mentioned this in previous videos. The baby looks exactly like my ex-husband. Split an image. You will know that that baby belongs to him because that baby took everything of him. His teeth, his eyes, his face, everything. He even short like that nigga. He took everything. I said, of course you can have a DNA test when I get back. I said, but also when I get back, make sure all your shit at my house. Make sure everything gone. Spotless. He takes me back and he told me, you got it. All right. So I flew out. I did call Dwayne back and I said, Dwayne, he told me that you my baby daddy, bro. He said, man, to be honest with you, man, at this point, I really do believe that the man, he got to be high. Like there has to be something going on with him. I said, absolutely. Absolutely it is. I said, but stand down. Don't bother. I said, don't even worry about it. Now, by this time, Dwayne Big Brother done called up there to their restaurant too. See, I didn't know that it was going that deep. I had no idea. Now, my other cousin, which is Dwayne brother, he's in San Antonio. He's in San Antonio. So I said, I ain't know, big boy call call homeboy job. He said, man, we not playing with that nigga, man. That nigga gonna have to see us one day. I said, all right, man. I get it. I get it. Real hitters now. Real hitters. Sometimes I just talk, but they actually walk. Period. So I get back in town. Instead of me going straight home, I leave the airport. I get to my aunt. Remember now, my auntie is Dwayne's mom, but she's really my cousin. I don't want to confuse anybody because y'all get confused quick. I went to her house and I stayed with her that night, slept in her bed with my baby. And I told her, I said, Auntie, I'm tired. I'm tired. She already knew what was going on. Dwayne had already let her know. But I told her, I said, I really cannot do this anymore. I just can't. She said, I know, baby. I know. So the next morning, I get up, I get the baby together. We leave my aunt's house. I travel to Fresno and I drop him off at daycare. And I go to the house. And y'all, that was the first time that I felt God in my home. because it felt like the devil left. When I walked through that house, it was still. The peace that I felt that day, that felt like freedom to me. Because when I went to that closet and the left hand side where everything that was his was at, it was completely empty. And I fell to my knees in that closet and I told God, thank you. Thank you, God, because you knew that I couldn't do it no more. You knew that I could not do it no more. You knew it, you knew it, you knew it. And I kept and I kept and I kept. I kept going. I kept praying and I kept telling God, you kept me, man. You kept me. You kept me. You kept me through this entire thing. You kept me. You helped me and you kept me. I could have went to jail. That man could have killed me. He could have did anything. And when I mean kill me, because when you beat somebody with an ironing board, when you beat a nigga ass with an ironing board, man, it hit different for a man to get their ass beat by a woman, man. It do. It do. I can only imagine how it felt for a man to have a woman to put their hands on him because he a lying ass man. Because he couldn't be what a real man would be in a household. But that day was dedicated to thanking the Lord himself. Because I could not muster up the faith to leave. Even through the lies, through the drugs, through the verbal abuse, through the mental abuse that man put me through the infidelity. I had so many reasons biblically that I could have divorced that man. So many reasons. But I stayed because realistically I cared for this man. I carried his child. And a lot of y'all not going to understand how I stayed through all of that. But I truly believed that somehow, some way it was going to turn around in my favor, but it never did. But what happened was that God made sure that I came out on top at the end. I didn't see it when I was going through it. I kept looking at my baby and I kept telling him, I'm sorry, baby. I brought you in here. I brought you in this world, and you don't deserve to have no daddy that don't look at you the same way he look at other people's kids and love on them. My baby didn't deserve that, dog. And he don't deserve that at all. This is that man's only child, his flesh and blood, his son. And I allowed it to happen, man. I did. And I take full responsibility and accountability for my actions. I do. But that day was the day that I could have walked with my head held high and couldn't nobody tell me nothing. Because when that man left my house, I knew that was the last time. That was the last time that I was going to allow him to come in. That was it. Part 19, the lies he told. So I hang up the phone from him. I quickly sent him a text message and I told him, I said, listen, I know you and I have not been seeing eye to eye. I have no idea what you're talking about when it comes down to my cousin contacting your job, whatever the case may be. However, what I will tell you is that I am dealing with the death of a family member. I am currently grieving. This is not what I need right now. Remember, I told you guys that I was dealing with postpartum depression already. And, you know, postpartum can stick around for a while after you've had a baby. So there were things that I was personally dealing with. I was dealing with my own stuff, you know? And so he did not text back. He waited until the day that I flew out, which was not the day of the funeral, but the following day. Part 20, the lies he told. So I left Houston that weekend, I believe, or it might have been whenever my sister told me that she was free. And I went and I spent some time, me and the baby, we went to New Orleans. I went to spend some time with my sister. And we went down there and then we came back. And when we came back, I contacted him and I told him, I said, hey man, um, I need financial help because when you left, you didn't pay none of the bills. I want to be clear that his move out date, the day he moved out, was July 30th. I said, I need either some support for the baby, either you can help pay his child care, or, you know, if you feel it in your heart, however, because you're heartless now, but if you feel it in that heart, whatever heart you got, I need money to support this household. He told me that he was going to make a payment to me when he got his check. Of course, that never happened. I immediately went and filed for child support. The proceeding happened pretty quick. It was via Zoom. And turns out that every 2 weeks, he owes me $436. And so that was a good thing because that was a help. But he had been taking care of bills that I wasn't normally taking care of in that house. So it did put a financial strain on me. So I eventually went and I checked my mail, which I don't normally do. I normally do everything electronically, but for some reason, God led me to go to that mailbox in that subdivision, and I did. It was full of mail, full of mail. There were statements from the Easy Tag tollway that were hundreds of dollars from him running the tolls. There was a letter from Toyota letting me know that the car was about to be repossessed. There was a letter in there from a law firm letting us know that since the tolls had not been paid, that they were filing suit. And most of this activity happened in the past 3 to 4 months. But we got the letters when he moved out. He was not in my house when I checked that mail. He was already gone. I called my brother and I asked my brother, I said, listen, I'm in a pickle, man. You told me not to sign for that man to get no car. You told me this, but he knew that Jared had already left the house. He knew that. And I told him, I said, man, Jared ain't paid that car note. And I specifically told that man when I got that car, don't fuck my credit up. Of course he did. Of course he did. He said, how much is it behind? I said, it's about $2,300. Because you know they tack on additional fees once you are getting closer to getting your car repossessed. So I told him, I said, man, it's too much for me. I can't do that. He said, man, you might need to call him and you may need to have a conversation with him about what is his next steps. Because if he can't make the payments, he can bring you that car back and you can take that car back yourself. I told him I would call him and I would let him know what he said. I called Jared and I don't think that I was able to get him on his cell phone, but I called that restaurant and I said, when you get a minute, call me. And he called me back and I said, listen, I got a letter from Toyota addressed to me because my name was first on that car. And I told him that the car was about to be repossessed because he was behind almost 90 days on the car. He assured me that he was going to get the car note paid. It never happened. I logged in into the online account and I noticed that since that man had that car, he only made 2 payments on that car and a partial. So I knew then that I was fucked. My credit score was messed up, about to be messed up. I did not know how I was going to financially handle the bills in my home. I knew that it was going to be rough for the next year or the next couple of years. It was going to be bad for me. So when he did not make the payment, they sent me another letter, and they basically said the same thing in the letter. This is, and they have a legal name for it. And I should know it right off the bat because I am in the legal field. But um, either way, it was them letting me know as soon as we can get to that car, it's gone. Your limit has extended for us to be able to give you the grace to pay the extra money that we told you we needed, whatever the case may be. I called that number on that letter and I told them exactly where he working, where his mama live. I said, y'all go get that car. Because I gave Jared two options when I called him. I told him either bring that car to me and bring me them extra set of keys that you never would let me have for whatever reason, or make the payment. And he chose to make the payment. I don't even believe to this day that man knew that I was the one that told them where that car was. Come get it. Because it's mine. That's my car. It's my car. It's my car. My aunt, she wanted to buy it from me, but I told her, I said, Auntie, I don't even think that I can get my hands on it. I don't think I can get my hands on it. Now, he was on the car as well. He was, but he was, the way that his credit matched up, they had to put me first. Had to put me first. So that happened to me. And child support started coming in. I started, figuring out that there were more lies that had been told to me more than once. Women continue to keep bothering me on social media about him, letting me know that he a dog ass nigga, he ain't shit. How could you marry a man like this? And it was embarrassing. It was humiliating, very much so. He never really contacted me about the child until it was like the baby's birthday or something like that. It wasn't no regular, hey, how was he doing? Nothing like that. What I did when he left out of that house and when everything had kind of settled down, I made me a prayer closet. And I went in and I worshiped God every morning at 5 o'clock before I got my kids up to go to school. Because now at that point, I was the single mom. I worshiped God. I allowed God to love on me. I told God that, I know that you had better for me. I just simply couldn't wait. And because of this is where I'm at. I reached out to a few family members. I asked them, like, hey, financially, I'm struggling. Can you help? Some people did, some people couldn't. And it's okay because I built that bed and I had to sleep in it. But there were times where I was basically in the negative and didn't even care that they were going to charge $36 because I was making the transaction, but my babies had to eat, man. And as I look back now, I regret the relationship. I regret letting it get that far. But in all, I love my baby. He is special for real. He really is. That was the best thing that could have ever came out of that relationship. The best thing.
Tell me why both her and Reese Tisa were stuck with, like, I don't know if y'all remember, but Reese Tisa, Legion have convinced her that she needed a new car. So she got a new car. Well, at the end of the day, once she put Legion out, she couldn't afford the car and had to give it back. Like, you can't let nobody put you in this much of a financial burden, especially when you've only known them for a couple weeks. They both only knew these men for a couple weeks. They crazy as hell. Let's get to this last part before I throw my computer across the room.
Guys, before I get to part 21, part 21, the lies he told. Um, After he was placed on child support and after it actively started to come in, I was able to take care of daycare for my kid and everything like that. I eventually moved back to the Cypress area, and I let the house go because I filed bankruptcy and I put the house in through bankruptcy. And yes, if you are renting, you can do that. I don't know if y'all know much about bankruptcy, but you can do that. I had to file bankruptcy because of the repossession. My credit was suffering, my finances were suffering. I had got into a whole lot of debt dealing with Jared, and it was mainly because I wanted to be that wife. I wanted to be supportive of him, and I did make a lot of dumb decisions and um, a lot of unnecessary transactions because of him. Um, Once again, I cannot stress this enough that I am fully to blame for that relationship. It should have never happened. But once again, this is an awareness thing for me. And I'm able to get this out because I hope that it reaches somebody. I did not get harassed a whole lot when we separated. Um, I filed for divorce in April of 2022, and I filled out a paper that stated that I could not afford the divorce. The first hearing that we had, he did not show up. The judge was gracious and said, hey, send him a text message and let him know that he will be held in contempt of court if he does not show up. I sent him a message, and at that point, I was no longer texting him from my number. I would only use a Google Voice number to communicate with him. I did not want him to have really any access to me. The child support order allowed us to talk through an app when it comes down to the child. You can FaceTime in that app, you can call in that app, you can text in that app. He never would use that app, and it tells you when the last time that person was seen on the app. He definitely doesn't log in. So I sent him a message to his number, the number that I had for him, because he would continuously change numbers. And I told him, I said, hey, we had court today for the divorce. I know you were served. I had them serve you at your manny house, but I knew you were served. And it's if you don't come to the next hearing, the court stated that you will be held in contempt. And I don't really think that you want that for yourself. He responded back and he said, I didn't get any paperwork or anything about a divorce. I said, Jared, you signed the divorce decree. DocuSign. Still lying. I said, but it's okay. It's cool. No problem. I said, but I'll email you the divorce decree that you signed that should be in your email. But I'll email it to you. And I did. And I did reiterate on the email that if you do not show up, you will be held in contempt. The next hearing, of course, he did not show up. He told me he was coming, but he did not. It was a default divorce. I was granted everything in the divorce decree. And he is responsible for paying for the divorce, not me. It came out to like maybe $493 because of court costs and everything like that. And I look on there often to see if he has made payment. He has not. That happened almost 2 years ago, so he has not. And after the divorce happened, and when I went ahead and did the whole bankruptcy thing, I moved on back over here to this side of town. And I've been staying over here since then. Um, you guys may care, y'all may not care, but the baby will be 4 in October. He is vibrant, he is beautiful. People love him, people cherish him because he is special. and he does not contact me about this child. And this is his only baby that I know of. And it's sad, but that boy is going to grow up and he is going to know how strong his mama was for him. Because I did a lot to try and keep his father in his life, and it didn't work. It just didn't work. So, this does end the series of the lies he told. Thank you for watching. I encourage you, if you have a story to tell it. It is therapeutic for me. I feel a relief. I feel like a weight has been lifted. I feel like I have helped someone. The tears that I have cried, they are real. Because y'all, I have not cried about this since I got that divorce. Because the day I got that divorce, it was go time, baby. I was at 5 Central. I was at Prospect. I was gone. And y'all, one of my best friends, Kim, she in them comments, we saw Jared as a manager at Prospect Park. He had changed jobs again. And I could not figure out where he was working at because, the child support had cut off. Bed. We saw him at Prospect. And now he just stays within that type of company. So guess what? Everywhere he go, I be knowing. Um, if you do know who Jared is in real life, I'm being serious. Leave him alone. Jared has suffered enough in life. He really has. And I know for a fact that he's not doing too well. Mentally, emotionally, he's not doing too well. So now, since this series is over, what I will do is I'll go back and address some of the comments. I'll probably be making other videos about them. I just want to clear up some things if people do have questions. Um, I will answer things. I'm not going to answer anything stupid. I got the comments to where I view them before they go on my page. So if you done said something snotty or stupid, it's not going to show. I don't care. Get a life. But I really do appreciate it. I love you guys. I want y'all to stay humble. And guess what? I got another story to tell, but I don't know when I'm going to tell it yet. Bye, y'all. Part 21, The Lies He Told.
So that was it. The lies he told. At the end, she said that she had another story to tell, but she didn't know when she was going to tell it. Apparently, after Gerald, she got into another, I don't know what kind of relationship, but some kind of another crazy relationship since Gerald. So apparently, that's going to be her next story that she talks about. Like she said, she doesn't know when, but she will tell it. And baby, I'll be there. I don't know because even though I like her story, she was kind of boring. I don't know. Like most of her videos are like 7 minutes, where Risa Tisa's were all 10 minutes, and her videos felt like they were taking forever. Like I kept missing the click the next thing because I would get up and do something. Like, okay, this chick is boring the shit out of me. Let me go over here and do this. Let me get up and do this. So she don't know how to pick spot. Hell no. Hell no. She had her second baby by a one night stand, who then became her homosexual, who then became her husband, who is now her ex husband. Apparently not. So when my daughter came home, she told me about another one, another TikTok story time, and the title is "Who the Fuck Raised Me." I watched the first, so he only posted 5 parts, and it seems to be a very interesting story. However, this is a big however. There's a lot of talk of abuse, so I don't know if I want to. I don't know if I want to bring it here. I don't know. I don't want to trigger folks. I don't want to, none of that stuff. Like that's not my goal. My goal is to be messy with y'all and kiki and all that stuff, but be triggering, that ain't my thing. So I'm really gonna have to watch. He's only done 5 parts in 2 days. So I'm really gonna have to watch to see how his story progresses before I bring it over. Um, but if all he's talking about is abuse, then I won't do it. But like she said, Risa Tisa has really given women a voice to be able to come out and speak their truth. So I have a good damn feeling that there are going to be plenty of these stories that we will be able to talk about. I appreciate you guys being here with me. Thank God she didn't make 50 parts because I don't know, we might not have survived. That shit was just dry. It was good. Like it had a good points, but then the rest of it was dry. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. And because I feel like it's a little different with these versus the Am I the Asshole stories. Like those, I'm going off a title, and it could be good, it could be dry, it could be whatever. But with these stories, it's like, okay, I need to watch them first to see if they have any good stuff in it. Like I don't want to be like, okay, we're gonna dedicate ourselves to this 50-parter, and then it's the first 30 are boring. Like that, no, I can't do that to y'all. I would like to hear a man tell his story. So the Who the Fuck Raised Me is when I clicked on it, I actually thought that it was a gay male. Okay? Gay male. Full beard, like a gay male. Well, by part two ish, I realized, well, let me back up. So when I clicked on it, I knew he looked familiar, but I couldn't really put my finger on it. So by part two ish, it came out that he was actually a trans man. So I feel like it could be a really good story, but I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, her 21 could have been 10. Her 21 could have been 5. She could have just put all the good shit in there, the ironing board, like she could have just put the good stuff. But I get it. I think after her first few, and people were comparing her to Risa Tisa and not being detailed enough and blah, 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 that she kind of changed it up a little bit. But I don't know. So I will be back tomorrow. What's tomorrow? Tomorrow is Thursday. I will be back tomorrow with a Am I the Asshole story. We will take a day off of TikTok drama but I will come back on tomorrow and do a Am I the Asshole story. So you guys be tuned in for that. I talked to Lex, who said we could do either Friday or Saturday. We could do the second part of the Gail Lewis story. So, again, if you have not checked that out, make sure to check that out. And that's it. I hope everybody has a blessed rest of your night. Well, morning now because it's after midnight. So, I hope you have a blessed morning, a good day at work if you go to work, and y'all be easy. I will see you all tomorrow. I love you to pieces. Bye.